It is no secret that third party cookies are going to go away. Businesses and marketers all around the world are finding out ways on how they can work with first party data so that they don't have to rely upon third party data when they're gone. Google has always been a pioneer in trying and experimenting things. I mean, I started working with Google in 2006, and I don't remember Google stopping ever. They're constantly finding out new ways. They're innovating. They're adding new features to the product. Don't you think this window of time until the third-party cookies completely go away is a time when we could experiment and find out avenues and opportunities to cope with things when the third-party cookies completely go away? So to avoid that, Google has been trying to experiment with a lot of things. It could be coming up with Google Analytics 4 when these are all the ways where we could work even when third-party cookies are gone, because GA4 is completely independent of third-party cookies. Similarly, there are a lot of things that Google is trying to get their hands dirty with, and today we would be talking about something which is called as conversion lift. So today we would be talking about something called as conversion lift. Mind you, this is not a replacement or an alternative to work when third-party cookies are gone. This is just a way you can experiment with a few things to help you cope with the situation when third-party cookies go away. This is just one of the things that Google Ads is trying to do. Now, current challenges that we have in terms of marketing are third-party cookies are getting deprecated. Number one, that is the biggest challenge that we have. Tracking journeys across different devices is becoming increasingly difficult because somebody watches an ad on TV, then goes ahead and browses it on the laptop, then gets a remarketing ad on an iPad, and then finally receives an email or a push notification on their phone, and they finally go to the store physically and then buy. So do you see how one customer has interacted with the business using multiple devices, and who gets the credit for this conversion is something marketers and businesses across the world are trying to figure out about how do you bring all these things under one hood. Now, this is becoming an increasingly difficult challenge. The second thing is disappearing third-party cookies in itself is a big challenge. Having to do more with less, because you can't obviously proportionately increase your marketing spends with the number of channels that you're going ahead. You will have to find out ways where you can cut down on spend. For example, content marketing, where you don't have to spend much, but you can still get a fair amount of reach using organic platforms. So you need to find out ways to how you can do that, because having to do more with less available resources is an increasing challenge in terms of marketing today. Content gaining prominence. Rise of AI has been phenomenal, and although there is a lot of things that AI is helping marketers with today, adapting will have its own sweet learning curve. Now, data-driven decisions with the wake of GA4 or Google Analytics 4 that we have today, data-driven decisions will see more prominence, and we are not yet ready for it, and we don't have the complete understanding of how GA4 works, or how we're not in a position yet to take decisions completely based upon data yet. All right, so to keep up with the pace, marketers need to pay close attention to attribution. In the prior example about who gets the credit, does the TV ad get the credit, or the offline store get the credit? So we need to pay more attention to that. We need to be very attentive to the data signals that we are tracking using Google Analytics or any other tracking platform for that matter. Adapt to advanced measurement techniques. Now, talking about advanced measurement techniques is what brings us to the topic today, which is conversion lift experiments that Google is trying to launch. Before we actually get into this, not every account will get to see this. In fact, I have checked with all my client accounts and nobody has it yet. If you want to use this feature, the best thing would be to get in touch with Google Ads support and try to speak to the manager or speak to the account manager and try to get this functionality enabled for you. This is not pushed onto all accounts. So this is something you need to remember. And the second thing that you need to remember is there are a lot of features coming up. And as of now, as of today, you can go ahead and create conversion lift experiments you can start conversion lift experiments and study them for video campaigns at the moment. Now, moving forward, conversion lift experiments is something that we need to look at. So if you look at the picture here, these are also called as incremental lift experiments. Now, everything begins with a keyword, right? Now, when people search for a keyword on google.com, you end up seeing ads. Now, when you click on the ads is when people go to the landing page, and depending upon the action that they take is what results in a conversion, right? Now, in a situation like that, that's how you get conversions if they go ahead and convert for you, right? Now, we know how many conversions the ad brought us. We know which ad is getting us more conversions. This is all fine. But imagine what is the impact of this ad on the conversions? What would have happened if this ad was not there in the first place? Would you have still got the conversions? If you read what it talks about, we can know how many conversions the ad brought in, but do we know if the ad hadn't been there in the first place, would the conversions still have occurred? That is something we need to figure out, and that is what these experiments called as conversion lift experiments help you. I wouldn't call these lifesavers. I wouldn't tell you that you cannot function without something like this. This is not a feature that you could look at as something that can save your life today, but these are interesting things that you could go ahead and try for your Google Ads campaigns today. So I would strongly recommend you to go ahead and talk to your account managers or talk to support, get this feature enabled, and start experimenting with these. So I have also put together a few slides as to what this is talking about. Now, incremental conversion experiments or conversion lift is something which tells you that it splits your traffic or audiences into showing the audiences your ads, and some of the users will not be shown your ad. So depending upon that, it will tell you what is the impact of the ad on the conversions, comparing it with what would have happened if people did not even see your ad, right? So that split is something what conversion lift will go ahead and tell you. So if you want to look at, if you want to summarize the whole thing, difference in the conversions between the groups is the lift or increase in conversions because of ads. Now, if you look at this image here, you have certain audiences in blue and certain audiences in yellow. Now, the audiences in blue are the ones who saw your ad. The ad was not shown to people or audiences in the yellow. Now, what is the impact of your ad being shown to people? Did that result in an increase in conversions? Or what is the difference between the conversions between these segments is what conversion lift experiments tell you about. Now, if you see a positive increase in the conversions, it also tells you not just tells you how many conversions your ad got, it also will help you understand what is the impact of this ad overall, right? What is the value that the existence of this ad is bringing to table when you run these paid campaigns. Moving forward. All right, so these are the steps that I've put together for you to go ahead and create a conversion lift experiment. As I said, I couldn't find it in my account, so I had to rely upon the screenshots that Google had shared. So step 1 is going to tools and settings on your Google Ads account. Step 2 is click on something called as lift measurement. Most of you might not even see this option because it is not pushed onto the accounts yet. So I would strongly recommend getting in touch with your account manager and see if you can finally manage to get something. And then you have an option where you can add an experiment. Click on this and you choose your conversion lift here. If you observe the third image, there are some features which are still coming soon, which means they're not yet completely launched. Now, there are two options that you can create these experiments. One is based on users, one is based on geography. Geography is not yet up. You can only run conversion lift experiments based upon users, right? Now, then you select this option and then you choose the campaign that you would want to run the experiments for, and then set a start date and end date for your experiment. Once you do that, on the right-hand side, it will show you a forecast of what this experiment can perform, potential conversion lift that you may experience. All right, so best practices when you do this, optimize your campaign to conversion or conversion-based bidding. So let the bidding type be CPA bidding. Use data-driven attribution. If you look at your analytics, there are different ways that you can choose the attribution models. So there are different attribution models. Make sure you choose the data-driven attribution model. Then have action-oriented creatives, and then make sure that you have at least a 14-day testing period between these experiments for you to get reasonable results. So that's about it when we speak about conversion lift experiments. And anybody who is wanting to try these experiments and see if the presence of your ads is making any difference to the conversions at all is something that you can go ahead and try it out. Thank you so much. My name is Casey. Until next time.